Hey everybody, this is Jessica Lynn from JessicaLynnOriginal Studios at JessicaLynnOriginal.com, and today we are going to go ahead and create a fun Mickey-inspired pumpkin. I thought it'd be really fun. We do a lot of these for when we travel on vacations, and so I thought it'd be really fun to go ahead and cut out a Mickey shape, and then we are going to turn it into a pumpkin. Now, if you've never seen it in Disneyland, California, there's this really beautiful Mickey pumpkin in the middle, and he's sort of inspired off of that. These are super easy to make. Literally, I'm going to use my brother's Scan and Cut. And today what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut out that Mickey shape using this orange paper. Let's go ahead and get this all set. And what's really fun about this is this project is not one that takes tons and tons of time. You could do this with your family and your kids, whatever inspires you. Or you could just cut out a bunch of pumpkin shapes using your brother's Scan and Cut, and you could have your kids decorate with different faces using like a black crayon or a marker or something, and you could put a whole bunch of those up on the wall like your own pumpkin patch, and I promise you your kids would just love it. Now, a lot of these when we make them, we will typically make these for when we go into the parks. And we will actually decorate our window. So sometimes we'll decorate our hotel window. For example, recently we were at the Wilderness Lodge, and because the windows are all facing out, like toward the pool or toward the different areas of the hotel, we went ahead and actually put them on our door. And it was so cool because the cleaning service, they would see it and they were like, oh, like we had some happy anniversary ones and some other ones up. And we made a Loki one. So definitely take a look at our other videos. Again, my name is Jessica Lynn, owner artist for JessicaLynnOriginal Studios. If this is your first time here, welcome. If you are returning, welcome again. Don't forget to subscribe. We would love to have you subscribe. There's no cost. And then the cool part is anytime there's a video, you'll get an update for it. And what I'm doing is I found this little Mickey out on the internet. So I put it on a sheet of paper to the size of the pumpkin. I'm going to be using it as a stencil. And so right now what I'm doing is having the brother Scan and Cut find the edges and cut out all of the black shapes. So watch what it's going to do. I'm going to peel that up, and there's my stencil. So later we're going to use some inks that we'll be actually putting on the face. It's really kind of cool. Now the other option could have been to use those pieces that I cut out. I could have glued those on, but I opted to show you the stencil instead. So let's go ahead and put the brother Scan and Cut away, and then we will go ahead and get started. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to get all of our paper colors, and this is truly going to be handcrafted paper piecing, is I guess what I'll call it, right? So now that we've got our Mickey pumpkin shape, we're going to just start building everything off of this, and this is where you can really get creative. So you can see I'm going to go ahead and trace this because I know that's where I want it to sit, and then I'm going to draw in the little stump for the top of my pumpkin. So there it is. Now I'm going to add a little bit extra on the bottom. Think of it like a seam allowance, like sewing. I want to be able to glue it on, so I need to make sure I don't make it flush. So let me just show you. Let me just cut this out. And again, this is all just hand drawing paper piecing, and I love it. This is one of my favorite things to do. I think the kids have fun with it. We have fun with it. And I mean, if you were heading down for Halloween, September, October, I would highly encourage you to make a whole little patch of pumpkins that you could put up on your wall. So let me go ahead and line that up and glue it on. Flip him over. Boom. Now he's got the little pumpkin stump. Now I'm going to go ahead and add, let's see, we'll get some green, so maybe we'll make a leaf. So we'll just draw kind of how big I think that leaf should be. And again, by doing the little sketching now, I would encourage you to sketch probably in pencil. I'm doing it in pen because otherwise you won't see it very well on the camera. And I decided, let's just jump in, dive in head first, YOLO, that whole fun, let's just do it. So we're going to head and cut that out. And again, There we go. Because remember, you always do it backwards. So any of the pen marks and stuff always end up on the back side because you don't want those on the front. So let's go ahead and put that on. You can see it lines right up. Perfect. It almost looks like he's got like a little bang. It's kind of fun. So now from here, we're going to go ahead and start doing some pumpkin lines. Now, this is always that part where you're like, I've already done so much work. I'm kind of scared. Do I just do it or do I draw lines? You know what? Just go for it. You know what I mean? It's just a couple of sheets of paper. I'm starting, you can see right at the base of where... See what I'm doing right there? I'm starting right at the base. There we go. Now we're going to do the other side. There we go. Go back up. Boom. Now I'm trying to think of this like how a pumpkin would be, where it'd be like curved edges. So you can see I'm just kind of coming in. Boom. Now my initial thought was, you know, oh, you draw a straight line. Well, no, you've got to curve the pumpkin pieces off of that. So let's draw those in. Now we're going to be doing some shadows and highlights on the pumpkin to make it a little bit more three-dimensional. So there we go. Kind of like how we did the first one, a little bit better, but I think when we get all the shadows in, it'll look really good. So from here, we're going to go ahead and I'm just going to outline the leaf just to give it a little more dimension. All right, here we go. Whoosh, big lines. These are the ones you just got to commit to, right? Because if you don't commit to them, they're just, yeah, you're done, right? Own them. Again, this is that thing where I said, you know, you may want to do it in pencil first, especially if you don't feel like, oh, shoot, man, I don't want to have to recut the whole thing. I kind of just went for it and said, okay, we'll just make it work for whatever we've got. So there we go. Now we've got our pumpkin lines. Now I'm going to be using a couple of different types of markers, mainly Copics, and these are my Cali Art markers. These, I'm not going to kid you, these Cali Art markers, they are great for these type of projects. They cost, I think when I bought this set, I want to say they were like 20 bucks and I got 40 markers. Now they are not, I'm going to tell you ahead of time, I'll repeat it again, they are not Copics. But they are super nice and they're really good for these kind of projects. I would say if you were to put the Cali Arts out there, I would say that they are definitely a step up from, oh, well, they're not Crayola, right? But they're not Copic. So somewhere on the higher end in the middle is where I guess I would put these. So the first thing I'm doing is I'm adding all the lines around and I'm going to outline the pumpkin as well. So we're getting the dark one in there. And again, I'm using an orange color from the, so you can see it's kind of like a orangey color. And because of the paper, right now it looks dark. It will dry a little bit lighter, but it really kind of brings this whole thing together and gives it some shadow and highlights. Then what we're going to do is we're going to use a couple other colors and we're going to build up those tones because you really want this pumpkin to look three-dimensional. So now you can see just how awesome this looks. I mean, that looks so cool, very three-dimensional. I really love it. So now we're going to add Mickey to it. Again, if you haven't already done so, be sure to subscribe to our channel. You can just click on that little icon down at the bottom right or where it says the red subscribe. Now, these inks, I'm going to tell you, they are one of my favorites. They're so much fun. The best way I can describe the Distress inks is if you were to start painting with shoe polish. That's just what it is. Now, everybody else already knows how to use these, but for those of you that have watched my channel, they're newer for me. I was always kind of intimidated by them, and with the support of some amazing friends here on not only YouTube, but within the Stamping World community, you guys have encouraged me, and I love it. So that stencil that I created at the beginning, you can see now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take my Distress Oxide, and I'm going to go ahead and I am going to add his face. Now, it took me a little bit because I couldn't decide where I really wanted to put it. And I was like, too high, too high. No, I think that's it. So it took a little bit, but of course, once you commit to this and you start using the ink, there's no going back now. So let's go ahead. You're going to put a little ink on there and you're going to rub it in a circle. So again, just like shoe polish. And as I go through and do this, I'm going to build up color. And as you can see, you might go, oh my gosh, she's got like a big black eye. He does. I'm using this stencil. Now this stencil, just so that you know, I did cut it with a heavier cardstock. Don't use thin like sheet of paper because that will just rip. Done that. So again, this is a one-off stencil. This isn't something I'm going to use for multiple projects. It was really just to show you that you can add fun faces using, you know, your own cut stencils. So let's go ahead and get that all on there. Once the oxide's on, you got to let it sit for probably about 5 or 6 minutes. Once it's done, it's absolutely beautiful. I kid you not. So let's go ahead and take a look. Oh, we're just smeared it on a little more. There we go. I want it nice and dark. And always start off of the image. So you can see I started kind of off and then circled my way in. It helps just smooth it in. And I had thought, you know, maybe I'll use it around the edge of the pumpkin, but then I was like, you know, I already did a lot of three-dimensional work, and I just didn't like the way it looks, so I ended up not continuing with that. I'm just gonna get some of the excess off my brush. See, I thought, oh, I could put some shadows. It looked okay. Just not as good as I hoped, but... Alright, here we go. Moment of... Oh, it's so cute. It's so cute. And then the cool part is you could put a name on there. You could put the, you know, whatever family trip. You could laminate this, put it up on your hotel wall, make a whole little patch, maybe a mom, a dad, a Mickey, a Minnie, and then a couple little kids if you have kids. So always sign the back. I highly encourage it. And I always date it, like if we're going to take it on a trip with us, so then we know what trip it was on. But again, I just want to take a quick moment and say thank you so much for watching my video. I hope that you enjoyed this and are inspired. Be sure to subscribe and don't forget to visit our website, just JessicaLynnOriginal.com. Take care, everybody.